Hey everyone, Monica Bodierski here, artist and author of the Shadowland Tarot and the House of Shadows Lenormand. How are you all doing? Hope you had a wonderful week. This week's video is about publishing your own tarot or oracle deck. That is the number one question I get asked. Now, I have been asked a lot of questions, I get a lot of emails, and I do try to answer them all, but sometimes deadlines get in the way and life, and I can't answer them all. So what I thought I would do is take that most common question and make a video about it, and also a couple more videos if I didn't quite cover everything, because it's kind of one of those topics that gets pretty intense. And I am used to offering workshops and classes for people that take 2 to 3 hours. So I have to really condense this into something that is, well, basically all you actually want to know, I think, as an overview. So I have notes here because, sometimes I just go on a tear and it's an hour later. So let's take a look at. First thing I would say, if you want to create a tarot or Lenormand deck or any oracle deck, ask yourself why. Now, this might seem like a really basic kind of a question, why? But ask yourself if it's because you want to, get your art out there, you're a writer, you have something to say. There's lots of different reasons people create decks. Sometimes people do it for promotional reasons. Other times people just are part of the community. So it is kind of important that you really do love what you're doing, because it can get a bit onerous. At that coming down to the wire thing, you want to be able to stick it out. And trust me, that takes a love of doing it, right? If you're an artist, you might need to get a writer. If you're an author or a writer, you might need to hire an artist. You might need to find a printer, or you can get published. So, still be familiar with tarot regardless, because there are a lot of writers who, the writing is their profession, but they're not necessarily specialists in tarot. That doesn't mean you can't write a book about it or create a deck. It just means you should really do your research and make sure you understand the history and the background, which goes for anything you would create. This isn't specific to an oracle deck, but you'd be surprised how often people don't. They think they might just look at a single book and then create a card, which you can do. No one's saying you can't. But maybe if you want a longer shelf life and you really want to attract people to your deck or your book, look into it. Look into the subject really thoroughly. Do you collect tarot cards? Do you read? Are you a reader? Because there's nothing that gives you better insight into a tool than if you need that tool or you use it. Okay, so ask yourself that. Once you've decided, yes, absolutely, I'm a reader, I love doing this, I'm going to write or do the art, I've got someone I can work with, or I'll do it all myself, then I would say pick a theme or a subject. Tarot is tarot, but what is the theme, the specific theme you want to discuss within your tarot? There are theme decks for everything and everybody, every taste. There are lighthearted decks, there are very serious decks, gothic, very dark and heavy decks, airbrushed looking different art styles, very simplistic, all kinds, for crystal lovers or people who like anatomy or herbs. There's so many beautiful decks out there, and that means that they are now very specialized, and you do need a theme. So think about that a little bit. What is your theme? What is your specific approach? And then you might want to decide, are you I mentioned this, are you the artist or the writer? You need to collaborate. Also designers, graphic designer, because it isn't just a matter of drawing or painting the cards. you need to do the layout and put the number on there and do layout for a box design. Some people make bags. They print bags. It's not that serious for them to have cardboard or that kind of packaging. There are places that supply tins and boxes printed to your spec. They have templates so you can download those and put the art on there. But still, if you're not familiar with a lot of digital work, you might want to hire someone to do that for you. So just keep that in mind. There are a lot of moving parts, and understand what it is you want to do or that you're capable of doing, because it can get very frustrating just hitting deadlines and creating multiple pieces of art, let alone fighting with your computer. Not that I've ever done that, or that they crash right when you're about to explode and then your computer goes. Just talking here, not from experience. So then you want to look at if you want to publish it yourself, and if you want to find that printer to do it for you, a specialty printer who only works with tarot decks and oracle decks and has those templates, or if you want to support somebody local and you want a little bit more control, quality control for cardstock, and for whether it's matte or a dull finish, or whether it's glossy, whether it's borderless or you want a border on it, you want to work with somebody who's either very familiar or that maybe you're close enough by in proximity so that you can have an exchange of samples back and forth. Now, I know most people who print cards, tarot or not, most printers will offer you samples of what they've done, samples of their work. Some people charge a very minimal fee for you to get a sample pack, and it's worth it. It's worth taking your time and checking out the quality of what you're going to print. Because you can't take it back once it's out there. I mean, you can have limited editions, and once they're gone, but you really want to put your heart and soul or your name onto something that you're very proud of. So do your research first and really take your time with that one. What else? Well, writing. Are you going to hire a writer? Are you going to write yourself? I happen to be a writer and a fine artist and a graphic designer and a tarot reader. So, an oracle specialist, I think, in general. So I feel very comfortable in bringing all of these things together. But that isn't always the case. I mean, there are a fair few people like myself who do that. But generally, people collaborate and they find an expert in the field in writing or in art, illustrators who've been doing oracle cards, or they're just really well-known illustrators. So think about how you're going to collaborate. And all the other details that follow, your schedule. When you have a production schedule, and when you'd like your deck to be finished, you need to check with your printer, whoever that might be, and anyone else you're working with, of course, and work it backwards so that you know how long it's going to take you. Figure out how long the cards will take, the writing will take, and then distribution is up to you as well. After you've received all of your cards, are you going to sell them on your own website? Are you going to have shops sell them? If you sell them in shops, you probably understand that they'll want you to give them a discount so that when they mark that up, they're making a profit because they're not doing that for free. If you get a publisher, the publisher generally takes care of all your distribution and your packaging and gives you a wonderful designer to work with and helps you with marketing and promotion. They also foot the bill basically for your packaging and all costs associated with it. For that, you get a small percentage of the royalties, okay? So while you may make more money directly from self-publishing, you also have to understand that you need to really hustle and sell your decks and ship them, do the fulfillment and everything else. Whew! My goodness, I'm getting tired just thinking about next week's schedule. Anyway, that was just a little taste of what goes on with publishing a tarot deck. I hope this has answered some of your questions about how you do that. If you want to know a little bit more about this, or if you want to ask any specific questions, feel free, leave comments below. Oh wait, we're not quite done. I'm going to ask my tarot deck. I may regret this. What was the process of making a deck like? Isn't that weird, asking your own deck? Okay. But it will be truthful, I guarantee. Okay, and of course, all right, the first two cards, and only two I'm pulling on this, the Five of Wands and the Ten of Pentacles. So basically, my deck is telling me that it may have been a little bit of a struggle. There was a little energy going on, little maybe self-competitiveness, a little concern there. Maybe I even knew what a competitive market it was because, my goodness, there's so many decks out there, right? So there's a competitiveness to this. And I guess there was. I think mostly I was competing with myself to see if I could actually live through 78 pieces of art. The other thing, the Ten of Pentacles. Well, this goes with all big projects, so take this as sort of advice for you as well. Not just hindsight, but foresight, that if you do create a deck, an oracle, you get it printed, you have created a bit of a legacy, something that lives on, and you've expressed yourself, and hopefully lots of people enjoy that and use that. And there's a very deep sense of satisfaction in having completed a task like that and created that. So thank you all very much for your support. Thank you for your questions. Please feel free to ask more. And oh, don't forget, now I have just started with IGTV, so I'm pretty new to the whole thing. I have been using Instagram for a while, but I'm also offering some short readings on Instagram. So go to IGTV and pick up a couple of readings there during the week, and have a wonderful week, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.